Safe to say the past 24 months around the world have been super tough. So many people displaced, all because of COVID. But what's the one thing that's kept people together through all of this craziness, right? Whether you're celebrating in lockdown or a more somber occasion, it's been music. And here on The Scene, that is what we celebrate each and every week. The great songwriters right here in WA. When our borders are open, the rest of the country as well. And as we get into season 8 of the show, we do it with our principal broadcast partner of Sorrento Strategic Accounting, and our mates at Atomic Beer are back as well, plus Morley's Sound Centre. It's all about great Australian music. This is The Scene. Season 8 starts right now. Hello Australia, right around the country here on Foxtel and on demand on YouTube. This is The Scene. It's about great Australian and West Australian music, all thanks to our partners at Sorrento Strategic Accounting. We are getting into season 8 of the show. My name is Blake Williams. Hello. The band behind me, well, they're about to rock it up. We love rock music in Australia. It is an absolute tried and true fact. Please give it up for Grandabout.
Again, I'm gonna have to use another one to put my mind at ease and get to rest. The photo album from when we were 10, my chronic nostalgia has settled in. Justify how things were better then. The world's a place I hadn't lived. The brand new greatness seems so obvious, a factor of the time it may have been. The glory years of 1993. My chronic nostalgia's got me again. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Life stands at a still when you're taking your fill of chronic nostalgia. It's hard to see the greatness of the world when standing so close to a lens. I'll go look back at ancient history and think of songs I could have played and sang. I could have made a living in LA. My chronic nostalgia for 80s fame. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Life stands out of still when you're taking your fill of chronic nostalgia. The verdict is in. You just cannot win. So I still submit to this foul frame of mind. Go back to your time. You will be just fine. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Oh, chronic nostalgia. Life stands out of still when you're taking your fill of chronic nostalgia. This is the scene.
Welcome back to The Scene.
Yeah.
Right around Australia here on Foxtel and on demand on YouTube as well. It's all about great Australian music. Grandabout on the couch. Chris, Ethan and Jack joining us, guys. Well done. Awesome work. It's really interesting. We're going to find out, I guess, where you guys have been, what you're doing at the moment, what the plan is from here on out, and how you've been dealing with the COVID funness over the past 12 months as well. But it's funny because last season we were talking to bands who were writing during lockdown. You guys formed in quarantine. What a world we live in at the moment. Take me back to the very beginning. How did it all start?
Well, I thought about this today. The real beginning of the project was back in 2020 at the initial locking down of Perth, and I was converting VHS tapes at home to kill the time. There's like 3 or 4 VHS tapes of my dad playing back in the 80s with bands that I kind of began with, Christine. And that was my introduction to music, was watching these videos. So coming back as an adult, like reliving the kind of youth, I was like, I need to honor this in some way before, you know, settling down and stopping it all for good. So we'd been talking about it for ages. I was out on tour. We got back to Perth. I got booked for a Living End tribute gig, was learning that material whilst in quarantine, and kind of thought, stuff it, like, have your own spin on the genre rather than just copying other people's forever.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that you were away on tour. Is it true? And if it's not true, then your bio that you wrote lies. But you're away on tour with Human Nature playing saxophone, and that's the moment you went, enough of this sweet 4-part harmony. I want to join a rock band. No Human Nature, no Grandabout.
Yeah, it's actually even funnier than that. I had sat down with the intention at that point in time of writing a solo jazz fusion record as kind of a portfolio of like, hey, look at what I can do. And I sat down during this quarantine period to write the fusion record and wrote a rock song and went, and I think a day after I played it to my wife and she went, that's pretty good. And then I got the courage to send it to Ethan and Ethan said, that's pretty good. And
here we are, we're all going. That's pretty good. More than pretty good. In fact, you guys are going to get up a little bit later and play the new single, which I'm looking forward to. But I find it quite amazing as well. You know, in a world of digital shortcuts, and we can do so many things with Pro Tools these days. But you guys have kind of changed the way that you put this together in the recording process. Very DIY, you know, taking speakers out of speakers and putting them in amps and doing wild stuff. Why the need to be so hands-on with it all?
Everyone wants to find their own way to put a spin on the end product, right? And with software, there's infinite ways to do that, but there's something about the visceral hands-on experience that, if nothing else, it bonds you to the past in a certain way when things had to be done that way. So, you know, given the ample time off whenever we've gone into lockdown, it's been kind of fun to just, you know, grab a snare drum and throw a chain on it to try and make it sound like change rattling in a wallet or in your pocket or... what other things have we done? Joe taking the mic stand and swinging it around like a stack of 6 amps or something to get a phaser effect.
Well, I think the most impressive thing that I noticed was the fact that you made the mic stands as well.
You made the mic stands?
No. Dante, my father, made the mic stands. Shout out to Support Vehicles Australia for all your water cart needs.
Oh, mate, that sponsorship's $500, just so you know. All right? But hey, we're happy to take it as well.
We can talk cash later.
Yeah, let's do it. We love Australian, you know, we love Aussie rock here in this country, and, you know, we have a great history of it in Western Australia with people like Bon Scott and, you know, the Farris brothers growing up literally around the corner from where this studio is, and the bands that are continuing the tradition now. If you could be in any Australian rock band for one day, what would it be? Happening now, traditional, who would it be?
Start at the other end.
Yeah, give yourself a couple of seconds to think about it.
Look, I feel mine would definitely have to be Eskimo Joe. I feel like, yeah, that was just all I listened to growing up. First song I had on my little MP3 player that could only play 30 songs. That's all I could load in, and then I would have to load them all on again. So, yeah, I think I would.
What a band as well. And if you are a fan of Eskimo Joe, jump on our YouTube channel. We have an interview with them from last season. You'll find it at Scene Music TV. Ethan, what about you?
I thought Eskimo Joe as soon as I thought about the question.
But you can't say it.
Now I can't do it.
It's already taken.
I'm going to go with Carnival.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just
I
because
almost thought you said Kylie Minogue for a second.
that would have been way better of an answer. I should have gone with that. Or Guy Sebastian, you know, something that.
Oh, absolutely, a Human Nature, possibly.
Possibly.
Chris.
Can you get me in? I got nothing, man.
There's a musician that toured in the mid '80s that had. You remember those Simmons like octagonal drums, like the big like '80s like synth video clip stuff. Well, this musician's job was to come out for one song of the set and hit them to trigger a low synth bass note in the band Midnight Oil.
Oh,
So
never heard of him, man.
I mean,
You want to be the one drum guy.
because I can't take any of
One
the other
obscure
jobs.
one.
That is the Oil.
You can be in any band ever, and you want to be the guy who hits the drum once
Yeah.
for Midnight Oil.
Give me, 1 hour with Jim Magini and, I'll be sweet.
Well, Grandabout, you guys, I love the way that you're kind of writing, but let's talk about styles, because you've all played in a range of different styles. Why, though, do you come back to something like this? Is it the fact that when you're on stage, you can just let it all out? It's just a lot of fun. What is it about playing rock that, you can play anything? Why choose this?
It's no frills. It's raw human energy. It's like the theatre to me in some ways. Like when you bring electronics in, you can create other world kind of textures and take people on a full emotional journey. But when you plug a guitar into an amp and play drums and sing just as a trio, you're in the human realm and you push that as far as you can. And there's something about that viscerally as a performer and as an audience member that, for me at least, is unmatched.
Yeah, and that's what that style gives you that so many others don't, which is brilliant. Let's talk about lyrics for a moment, because doing the music is one side of the coin. Lyric-wise, who writes most of them? Is it Chris?
That'd be me.
Do you tend to come back to similar themes? Where do you go lyric-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about this earlier today. A lot of music is complaining or being in awe, and so you're taking a reflection on your life. You're thinking about the things that you've loved and the things that you've hated. There have been a lot of things that I've hated, and I think that shows its truth in a lot of the material on the record. There's a lot of things that I love. That's a little bit harder to write about with edgy rock music, because you feel like you want to protest something. So saying everything's great kind of doesn't fit with jam. All of that.
Do the guys ever put input into something that they want to write about, or are you cool with him just to kind of go off on his tangent?
No, I think Chris. Like the reason why I'm here is because Chris inspires me. Like everyone don't cry about it. So, I think for me it's like Chris really inspires me, and he's like such a genius that for me it's just like I just love being around the guy and hanging out, and whatever he's got, I'm happy to play.
Well, we came back from the ad break. You guys were hugging, kissing each other. So, there's a lot of brotherly love kind of going on this couch at the moment. New segment in Season 8 for The Scene, which is we're going to cross live to our bar, our Atomic Bar, which is a great sponsor of the show, to Suze, who's our floor manager. Suze, give it up for Suze, everybody, as well. Floor managing.
Thanks, everyone.
It's a tough job. It's like wrangling cats most of the time. Suze, did you have a question for Grandabout?
So I do have a question for you guys, and awesome, by the way. You've been amazing. And my question is, if there was a movie made about your band, who would you play? Who would play you guys in the movie?
Chris is thinking Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has to play someone. Wow, so much silence. I didn't expect this to be such a difficult question to
Are you a
answer.
movie guy?
Yeah,
I know a lot about you, but I don't know if you like movies.
Yeah, like a few movies. Yeah, there's a few.
What is your favourite movie? Just while everybody else thinks of an answer to the previous question.
All right, we're going to be here for a while. I don't know. Favourite's a pretty hard one to put a.
Okay, well, let's go back to the initial question. Who would you like to play you in a movie?
Just anyone that's better looking than me.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
just
going to go with
gonna-
that too.
Yeah, someone that's just going to make me look awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you boys?
Can I get Tom Cruise to play me?
Yeah, absolutely you can. Budget is of no issue.
No one's a fan of that.
Chris?
I reckon it would have to be an unknown actor, someone on the local scene. I think actually, if we can get a close-up of Mr. Jared Van Dort in the audience, I think Jared would be a fine, fitting character to play the role of Chris Travaglini. Mainly because of his personability, his easygoing nature, and his ripping guitar skills.
So I asked you, the band you want to be in is the guy who hits one drum, and then the person who you want to play is someone who you already work with on a weekly basis. And that is the most Chris Travaglini answer I would have 100% expected. Now, the song you're about to get up and play in just a moment, what's it called?
Aqua.
Okay, it's out right now. Tell us about the writing of this one just quickly.
Yeah, this was a fun one. This was the song that largely put us on the path that I think we want to be on. It was a Sunday afternoon. We have a warehouse in Wangara that we rehearse at. was hanging out there, feeling at a loss for ideas, tuned the guitar down to C, came up with something that felt Queens of the Stone Age-esque, and then got a phone call from my wife saying, hey, come meet me for a drink in Cottesloe. So raced to Cottesloe with these voice memos on my phone of, this is the idea, this is the one, and like stewed over it for 2 hours, raced back to the warehouse, put the song together, and in all of this racing, didn't check the fuel gauge on the car. So finished writing the song, drove out of the driveway, pulled onto Wanneroo Road, and hit the bus lane where I stayed parked for about half an hour, listening to the song on repeat, going, yeah, this is definitely the song. It's one of those, like, say, synergetic moments where the universe blesses you with an idea that you feel moved by, and the topic and the harmony and the direction kind of all comes together synergetically.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. You're going to play it in just a moment. If you want to find you online, of course, the album is out as well. Where do we go? Best place to find you?
That is Instagram, Grandabout Music, and Triple J Unearth. You know, get on, throw a review. All the support we get is helpful.
Oh, of course it is, absolutely. Give it up for Grandabout in the studio, everybody. Amazing stuff. We love what they do. A very quick ad break right here on Foxtel. When we return, Grandabout live on the scene. Back in a moment.
Everything's tantalizing when you're
What a way to kick into season 8 of The Scene with Grandabout. Awesome rock and roll. That's what we love right here on The Scene. You'll find us online at The Scene Music TV. Season 8 has kicked off. I'm Blake Williams. Catch you next week with the sassy stylings of Quincy. See you then.
So